Hello everyone and welcome to another one of my blogs. The last few blogs I've been talking about ball jointed dolls, which is a recent big hobby of mine, and in this one I want to start talking about my other two hobbies of a quite large list of hobbies I have that are also at the top of my list of favorite hobbies to do. The first one is writing, and I'm going to talk about that one later. From the one I want to discuss with you right now is drawing. And like most people, I started out my drawing career in school. But the problem in school was that back in the days when I was in elementary, we didn't have any anime on TV, or at least not that I was aware of. It turns out that quite a few shows that I've watched are also anime shows. Surprise, surprise there. And here I thought that Holland didn't have any anime and was just backward, and yeah. Anyway, we're talking about real inconspicuous animes like Autobots and stuff you wouldn't directly link to anime. So yeah, by the time I got to middle school, that's where I started getting interested a little in drawing. I found I was very good at still lifes. I could do the shading right, and I rather liked it. Only after that, we had to do portraits. We had to sit down with a partner and we had to draw them. And back then we had a teacher who was really stressed. He just would not accept that I could not do this, and he had me keep on doing the same exercise over and over and over until everyone in class was sick of the fact that every week a new person had to sit in front of me and I had to draw them very crappily. I mean, as far as drawing people went, I was lucky I could draw a stick figure and make it look like a person. And I have an example of one of my stick figures. Oh, to the left, as you can see, not very impressive. So yeah, I really hated that class, and eventually after 5-6 months of drawing nothing but people's faces, and we're talking about classmates who got so tired of this that they were just putting on the most thunderous looking face ever of "why the fuck can't you get this, you stupid twit?" And I had to draw them, and I really just could not do realistic portraits. So yeah, after 6 months, our teacher turned out was at home with a burnout. Apparently tearing up my picture was very stressful for him, or something, I don't know. Probably a lot more playing along in that, but yeah. Anyway, so we got a substitute teacher, and he was to look over the things we were working on right then, which was etcher-like ideas, or rather, we were supposed to create a 3D maze. Really hard to explain off the top of my head, but I rather liked the exercise, and I was really bummed out that I was still stuck drawing people's faces. So yeah, I had to show him the face that I'd last drawn in the previous week's class, and he took one look at it, tore it up, asked me for my assignment, tore that up too, and gave me a new one. I was completely and utterly flabbergasted by what he did, and I just stood there, my mind going, what the fuck is he doing? And my teacher probably saw it, and I was really shocked at what he did, and he said to me, if you can't do it, you just can't, and there's no use doing it over and over and over if you're gonna suck at it the same way each time. It's counterproductive, and it makes you hate drawing in the end, and that's not what I want. And well, technically I was standing at a 2 for art at the time. That's a failing grade in Holland. It's like 20% or something in most countries. I'm really not familiar with the A, B, C grading they use in America, but let's just go with the second lowest grade you can get. That's still a failing grade in your country, and that's what I got for it. So yeah, I had like 4 months left, and I had to pull up my grade. My teacher was really cool because sorry, I'm having a little cold at the moment. So yeah, he was really cool because he had me do the assignment they were doing at the moment, and he realized that I had a really good eye for drawing 3D stuff, and especially taking a math page with those 1 centimeter by centimeter little squares and use that to draw mazes and all kinds of buildings and stuff. And yeah, so he was really happy. Turn the camera slightly so you see me and not half of me. There. And he was really happy that I was able to do that, and he went and looked up every extra credit assignment he had on that and had me study Escher as well, and made me do all kinds of Escher stuff, like start out with a small little thing and then work it out until it was something big and complicated, and I did that, and my teacher was really happy, and with that we upped my grade from a 20% average to a 60% average, with it, which in Holland is just on the verge of passing and failing. It's a passing grade, but if you go lower than 55%, you fail. That's how they count it, I don't know. Anyway, that got up my grades, and around that time is when I started watching my first anime series, of which I was actually aware that it was called anime and that it came from Japan and had a really interesting art style, and I was completely smitten with it. As until then, my best human figure was something like that. That was also me just playing around and sketching a really bad person and giving them a really cute outfit. I rather liked doing that at the time. So yeah, the first anime I saw was Dragon Ball Z, and while this was fun to watch, as in it that it had a few funny parts, and yeah, you could just turn off your brain and watch the idiocy of it, really. It was nice. It was a nice change of pace in art from what we had then on TV in Holland, which was just the worst, to me, kind of animation ever. I never really liked the way Dutch people do comic style cartoons. I should have one of them here. I'm not really sure what they're called in English. In French they're Bob and Bobette. And then it's where are you two? I should take the background picture. These two. That was about the best I could find in art, and that was just around tolerable. We had at that time also already SpongeBob, Rocko's Modern Life, Ren and Stimpy, Eek the Cat, and that was just the most mindless drivel I'd ever seen, and I hated it. So yeah, Dragon Ball Z was Still mindless, but a nice change of pace to me. Please don't eat me, it's my opinion, and I don't give a crap if you don't like my opinion. You're entitled to your own, so it shouldn't matter what mine is. Anyway, they had this block on what was then You're In channel, and that was the Cartoon Network block, and they showed that, followed by something called Angela, and it was a really weird cardboard cutout type cartoon that made no sense to me. After that they had Cardcaptor Sakura, which was a tad bit too pink. Yes, I know, I'm wearing a pink shirt, so that's really hypocritical, but at the time I really did not like pink, and I still don't like it very much. I like my shirt because it's light pink and a bit purplish pink and not hot pink. Yeah. So anyway, after that came, let's see, something else, I think, yeah, an Autobots series called Dinobots, I think. One of the many Autobots series. I know it's not Insectobots, and I know it's not the original Autobots series, and it was weird, and it was fun to watch, and I rather liked the idea behind it. And the art style again. So after that came the first anime I really loved and still love, Gundam Wing. Now, normally girls aren't really into mecha anime, I think, or at least most girls are not unless there are hot guys in it. And what drew me to Gundam Wing was that they had really awesome ideas in that. It was complicated to follow. I missed 3 or 4 episodes when I watched it, so I had to watch it 5 times before I got the entire story behind it. And yeah, that was really what got me into it. And after that we got Yu-Gi-Oh!, which inspired my failed attempt at a rip-off of Dark Magician. So yeah, that really got me into drawing anime, and I started looking it up online, and back then we had, I'm not sure if anyone who watches this still remembers being old enough that they know the beginning of the internet was the dial-up connection. Yeah, I had 1 hour of internet time granted by my parents, and in that time I would turn on the computer, spend 40 minutes waiting for the damn dial-up to work, and then I had 20 minutes internet time. So I had a lot of conflict with that with my mom, who wouldn't believe that dial-up was that slow, and my dad was like, don't mind her, just keep going, and I'll make up some excuse. And I got like maybe 30 minutes extra thanks to my dad. And then later I sent my mom down, and I had her see how long it would take me from complete shutdown of the computer to being on the internet, and she granted me 1.5 hours time, so I could compensate for the more than half an hour of time I wasted waiting for the damn dial-up. God, I was so happy when we got ADSL. Yeah, you can imagine. So I started getting into anime more and looking it up on the internet, and even doing my own attempts at a self-portrait. Yeah, can you see it's me? I had long hair back then, and no. Well, I have smallish eyes. They're not really slanted, but I've always been kind of interested in Asia and everything to do with it, and I really liked it. And I can see that I'm almost out of time, so I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. We had a knockoff manga called Witch Magazine, and they had some really cool characters, and I started copying them and giving my own idea to the pose, which resulted in things like this one. Yeah, I really had crappy material to work with back then. And later, back a bit to left, this one, which I rather liked. And Yeah, we're at 15 minutes, so I'm gonna do a two-parter on this one, probably a three-parter if I want to get into the start on the writing aspect that goes with the art aspect. So see you next time.